hadn't worked in the past. So get away with it this time. Let me see if this is working. If not, I have plenty of time to restart for 5 o'clock and set things up a different way. Let's see here. Let's see what we got going on here. Looks Yacht-Master 40mm versus Submariner Maxi. Looks like we might be working. Yeah, looks like it is working. Okay, so we are early. Durr is in the house. Absolutely. He's in the house. Liquid Smoke is in the house. I'll take the Yacht-Master. It's quite thin, and not everyone has one. That's a very good point. That's one of the major points I was going to make. And what's brought this up is Tim, the Watchbox, has done a couple of videos recently on Yacht-Masters. Specifically, I guess it's the 5-digit Yacht-Master that has the stamped clasp. And so I have some thoughts about that. And we often get the question, if you were only going to have one watch and you weren't going to have something like this, a superlative dive watch, or something like this, and as a rotation, a gold stunner dress watch, and then a separate watch for sport and all other occasions. If you weren't going to go that route, and if you were only going to have one watch, we often get this question, what watch would that be? We've talked about using a Rolex Date 8 for that purpose. It's a good all-around watch. We've talked about a Datejust. We've talked about Explorers. We've talked about a lot of different options, and we talked briefly with Clive about the Yacht-Master. And now that I've seen these most recent videos of Tim showing 2 more Yacht-Masters, and these were the 5-digit version, the one that has the stamped clasp and the hollow center links. The gold links are hollow. So a lot of people would poo-poo it because of those 2 things. But I don't think I would. And of course, you can buy the 6-digit one that has the solid links and the modern clasp and so forth. But I don't think I would discount the previous version, and I'm going to tell you why, what my thought process is. But let's get caught up on the comments here. There you go. He did review on date, and then it wasn't on the website. Only looked 2 hours after his YouTube post. Yeah, sometimes he'll do a watch, and for some reason it's not there, and he doesn't put a link in the YouTube description. Sometimes he puts a link right to the watch. It's catch as catch can on that. Maybe some of them sell right away, and they don't have time to do that. Did you see that Archie would like you to come on the show with Clive? They were just talking about it in a live stream. Clive even joked he was selling his Rolexes for Grand Seikos. Well, there you go. Yeah, I'd be happy to join them. I haven't received an email or anything about it, but yeah, I'd be happy to join them. We're going to get Clive into a Grand Seiko before you know it. There you go. He'll have at least one fantastic watch. And I got to apologize about the sport coat I'm wearing. It's going to cause moire in the video. This check plaid, whatever you call, will create that moire in the video, depending on the quality of your internet connection and a bunch of variables like that. What I'm seeing here on my broadcast is fine, but what happens is YouTube compresses everything, and that's where we get that moire with these patterns. But it is what it is. I almost never wear this jacket, but I really like this jacket. It's an oldie but a goodie. Probably 40 years old. So it's hard to identify a Yacht-Master. I think an older gold Yacht-Master is a great buy for an all-around watch. We're going to look at a steel and gold like the one Tim did. Let me pull one up here. Give me a moment here to find one. Then I'll show a more modern one that I took a picture of at the AD when I was at the AD. But first I want to pull up some of these. I should actually go to the watch box and do it, but I'm on Crown and Caliber right now. But let me see what I can find. Okay. And you got to watch it because they have the small one that's more for a lady. And those really are reasonable. They got one there for $5,300. Let's switch to the, see that one for $5,300. That's a small one. You get up to this $7,500 price, and that's probably the 40 mil. And that's an option too with the, is that a white gold bezel on that? We'll look at that in a second, but I want to look at the yellow gold first. Okay, so here's a 5-digit that's 8,500, and then when you go up to the 6-digit, see the price jumps substantially. So we were at 11,500. But let's look at this one first, just as an example. Let's look at this 5-digit unit. So personally, as an all-around watch, I think it's a nice split between a little bit dressy and sport, and the fact that it's only about, some people say 11.5 mils thick, some say it's 12, but substantially thinner than a sub, and especially when comparing it to a maxi case sub. Look at that case shape. Look how nice that case shape is. Much nicer shape. The lugs, the side of the case, everything much nicer than a maxi case. Much more attractive. And this is less money than you'd pay for a steel sub. And here's the thing on the stamped clasp. The nice thing is you've got all those micro adjustments. I wore Rolexes with stamped clasps for years, and I never had a failure. I never had a problem. And as far as the hollow center links, I think they will hold up okay too. I don't think you're going to get much stretch in that bracelet. My guess is it's going to hold up pretty good. I haven't heard tell of these things really failing in that way. So I would not discount it just because of those two reasons, the hollow center links and the clasp. If I didn't have a two-watch stunner rotation right now, I would consider that. Excuse me. And they come with all different dials, a bunch of different dial combinations. Let's go back and see another one. Let's look at one of the ones with the solid links and all too, just to do a comparison. Let's look at this one here. And again, 11.5, that's not much more than what you would pay for just a steel sub. And I think this is a vastly superior watch. I like the all-gold bezel, and I like the fact that you can turn it both directions. It's easier to use. The case design is just got it all over the sub. Look at the side of that case. Look how elegant that is. And this one, of course, has the modern clasp with the beak and so forth. But I don't think it has micro adjustments. I think it has just the one adjustment where you can extend it out. What do they call that? Easy link or whatever. I don't think it also has the micro adjustments that some of the clasps of that style do, where you can use a tool and you can adjust them. Let me know in the chat if this does have that, but I think that's a green light. I mean, I don't think it's even a competition. I think it's that watch over a sub any day. Let's see here. It's hard to identify a Yacht-Master. What do you mean by that? I think an older gold Yacht-Master is a great buy for an all-around watch. Yeah, I didn't see that many all-gold ones. I'll go back to that website and see if they have any all-gold ones, and see what the prices are. Well, yeah, all I can see now is the goat tripping out. Well, there you go. I love the Yacht-Master one. It's like a 40 mil turnograph, but with a Submariner style dial. Yeah, I mean, it's a real sleeper. I think it's cool. I love how the Yacht-Master has a bidirectional bezel. Absolutely. Even if you're using it for diving, are you really going to bump it and turn the bezel any significant amount? I mean, I don't think so. I don't know. I'm not a diver, so. If they come out with yellow gold, two-tone, 6-digit, I would be all over it. There are some yellow gold 6 digits, aren't there? Or they just make it in rose? Yeah, I don't like the rose either. But I wouldn't, I mean, it wouldn't be a total deal killer, but I would rather have the regular yellow gold, again, so it matches other yellow gold stuff that I have. So I don't have to go all rose gold. Because 18 karat regular yellow gold is much more common. So like if you buy cufflinks or something, it's more likely they're going to be yellow gold. I wish watch companies would say exactly how much gold is in their watches. There's not that much. That's why they don't say. Because if you sell them just for the weight in gold, you don't get much money. I think a day-date, even the modern ones, only have like 2.5 ounces of gold in them or something. So it's a small fraction of the value of the watch. I could absolutely see myself with a two-tone or blue dial as a one Rolex collection. It could easily replace both a sub and a Datejust. The new clasp has the 3 hidden anchoring points, by the way. Okay, so when you say new, like from what year on, are all the 6-digit ones like that? Please clarify that. Because I thought some of the 6-digit ones just had the Easy Link. So that would be good information to have. But I'll tell you what, that other one is substantially less money. And it would not be a deal killer for me. I think it would be a more comfortable watch because it'd be lighter weight. Are you selling your Submariner? I don't have a Submariner. I haven't had a Submariner for years. I'm all sold out of Submariners. Also, I want to try to bring somebody in using a Hangout with this other computer. So if Clive comes in, maybe we can try to do a test and see if we can get him to come in with a Hangout. What do you think of the Yacht-Master 2? I think it's awful busy. Yeah, I would pass on the Yacht-Master 2. How much more gold is in the solid links versus the hollow? Good question. But it's not going to be enough gold to make it, the weight of the gold, it's not that much. I mean, because gold, first of all, isn't that expensive right now. So even if it's a half ounce of gold, you know, what's that, $600 or something? I mean, it's just not that much money. Clive's in the house. Okay, Clive, let me know if you can come in. I want to do a test. I want to create a Hangout on my laptop that's hooked into the system here. And then I want to see if I can bring you in and see how well that'll work. So let me know in the chat if you can come in, and then I'll create a Hangout, and then I'll send you the link for the Hangout. At least I'll try to. This is going to be breaking new ground. Gold is just fancy dirt. Well, there you go. Well, the neat thing about gold is it does hold up really well. It doesn't tend to corrode or anything like that. And believe it or not, it doesn't show scratches as much as stainless steel does. Stainless steel watches, when they get kind of beat up, they really show everything. The gold just gets like a patina to it. All right, Clive, I'm going to try to do this. Give me a minute to create a Hangout. Let me see how I can do this. Hangout conversations. Hangout contacts. Let's see here. trying to do this here. Let me empty Hangout. You're in a video call. Wait. Oh, new conversation. Okay. Clive. How come that's not working? How can I just create a quick new Hangout? I don't want to do a Hangout on air. I just want to do empty. Maybe empty Hangout? No. All right, give me a second. I'm going to create a Hangout on air. I'm going to go that route. You guys keep chatting in the chat about whatchamacallits. And then we're going to try to get Clive in. But give me a second here to create a Hangout. This should not be this difficult. Let's see here. Streaming. And don't pay attention to this if you get a notification, because I'm not actually going to go live. I'm just creating the Hangout. Okay. Okay. This is going to be an interesting test. I don't know how this is going to work. All right. All right. Now, I'm getting a link here. And I'm sending it to Clive. And I'm calling it test. Oh, how come I'm not getting... Not getting your emails, not coming up. Oh, there it is. Clive Watch Wrangler. Man, this is fighting me. Okay. All right, Clive, I just sent you the link by email. And now I'm going to, hopefully you'll come in. Plugging the laptop. All right, so when Clive comes in, we're going to cut to the laptop and see if I can pipe him into this show. See how this works. In the meantime, I can't keep an eye on the chat. Well, let me try to cascade this window a little bit. I can do that a little bit. Well, that's not gonna look good if I do it that way, though. Hopefully he'll be in here in a jiffy. This is what we call live TV, folks. Live TV. Okay, turn my camera off. And still waiting for Clive to come in. Clive in the house. There he is. Clive's in the house. Okay. Oh, it's interesting. I can't hear Clive. I got to get headphones to hear Clive. But let me see if the folks in the chat can hear you. I'm cutting to Clive. Clive, you're on. See if they can hear you. Talk to them and see if they let you know how your audio sounds.
Okay, guys, audio check.
And I'm going to go get
2, 3,
headphones.
4, 5. The lazy ladyboy listed wrongfully. Oh, no, I can't. Sorry. Guys, I'm going to also try to go into the live stream comments real quick so I can, if you guys can hear me or not, that way I can see you. And try not to pull up the sound on this and do like the Lou Gehrig thing. All right. All right, and like Craig, I'm seeing you, but it's just you behind the an avatar of you behind the camera.
Okay, so now I can hear you, Clive, because I got my headphones on. Can they hear you okay?
Okay, guys. Let's not tangle each other, Tim Misso. Oh, you noticed that. Okay, guys, if you can hear me, type 1. If you can't hear me, type...
I'm sure they can hear you. The question is it too loud or too soft? The level is the question. Because I can hear you. I'm pretty sure they can hear you. But hopefully they'll confirm.
So Craig, how you doing? How's your New Year's?
Oh, it was fantastic. I went to 2 events, and they're both paying sponsors. So
nice.
The benefit of what I do is I never have to pay for anything.
So you get to be artsy luxury.
Yeah, that's right. I never get to pay for anything. No parties, no events, no goodies, no toys, no clothes, no nothing. Everything they just give it all to me. That's the way it works. Women, everything, all free. Believe all that. So, anyway, what did they say? Are you coming in loud and clear for them?
111. Yeah, apparently levels fine, says Flip and Zippo, Don Klebols, Barry BKT, all good.
So now what I can do, Clive, is I can switch to me. I'm switched to me on the broadcast right now, yet they can still hear you all the time.
Okay.
And then, like, for example, if I switch to the wide shot there, the camera shot that shows my whole setup here, you can see the little switcher in front of me. You can see my
nice.
monitor. This monitor here has the 4 feeds on it. And then this monitor here shows me what's going out on the broadcast at any given time. And then this is the mixer for the audio. All the audio is going into here, including the feed from the laptop. That's how they're hearing you. Because that's piped back into the switcher, which is piped into the Video Pro box here that's doing the streaming. That's doing the encoding and the streaming. So that's the setup. And then camera 3 is the close-up of the stunner with that silky smooth second hand just doing its march. Basically, for decades, it's going to do that march without any interruption. That's the plan. So, back at the ranch, I'm cutting to you. We've been talking about the possible best all-around Rolex being the Yacht-Master because it's so thin. Because it could double as a dress watch. The steel and gold, 40 mil, Yacht-Master. And it's got the nice shape to the case. It's got the nice...
Well, and a lot of them haven't gone all Mexi case with them. That's positive.
Well, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. I'm talking about the older one, the 5-digit with the hollow center links and the stamped clasp. So you can buy them for about $8,500 steel and gold. You can get them for less than that. I mean, that's the asking price.
A little over a year ago, I actually found locally a two-tone gold, yellow gold and steel, two-tone Yacht-Master with a blue dial.
5-digit?
Yep, 16623. Well,
how much?
I got it for $5,000.
That's what I'm talking about. That's a hell of a deal. Do you still have it?
Hell no, I flipped it for money.
I don't blame you. So see, that's what I'm talking about. That's a hell of a watch for that kind of money.
Well, it is. It is. Of course, that was before the unobtainium crisis. Right after that, I'm like, after I sold it, I was like, you mean what? You mean Rolex isn't selling? What? You mean they're all going, oh, shit. But, I still turn around for a flip buck. However, I have also, guess what I'm doing right now?
Well, with your hands down in your lap, I really don't want to guess. This is a G-rated show.
G-spot rated show?
There you go. Absolutely. So, yeah.
Explorer 14270. I just sold it just now, about an hour ago.
How much? Or do you not count?
No, 3,600.
Really?
Yeah.
Somebody got a hell of a deal.
Somebody got a hell of a deal, but I'm not done yet. Do you want to hear what else I've got?
Yeah.
Okay.
We might have buyers.
This is an Explorer 2. No, the Explorer 1 had box, no papers. This is an Explorer 2. It's newer. It's Swiss only, which means it's a tritium dial. Okay? Black dial. It's got
beautiful case design.
Solid end links, solid end links, and holes case.
Very nice.
I'm letting this one go for. It doesn't have box or papers, but it's been checked out here locally. It's also, been. I've also had my watch guys check it out here, make sure it's running it all right and everything.
Sure.
4,500 plus shipping.
Well, there you go. Fantastic piece. Somebody could wear that all the time too. That's a 40 mil, right?
40 mil.
How thick is it? Is it 12 mils thick?
Thereabouts, yes. But I'm not done yet.
Are those thinner than a sub of the same vintage?
Yes, they are. Okay. However, I'm not done.
I'm sure you're not.
Okay.
Is this exclusive, or have you already divulged this to others? Or am I getting an exclusive here?
And if you're interested in these people, I've got a channel, Clyve Watch Wrangler, and also my email is clyvewatchwrangler@gmail.com. This is a 2014 Submariner ceramic.
Okay.
Chunky Monkey.
Okay.
Complete kit. Box and papers. All links. It looks like complete kit, 7,300 plus shipping.
Well, there we go. There's no bubble in Clive land. Clive is doing a January 1st deal, a January 1st triple header deal.
Oh no!
You're not done yet. Okay.
Yeah, and I thought long and hard about this, but you remember the Air King?
Oh yeah.
Okay, this is a 2017 model. Original kit. I even have the original. For both the modern ones, it not only does have the inner and the outer box, it has the sleeve for the inner and outer box. They both have the receipts, the original store receipts. I will let this go for 5,300 plus shipping.
Wow, that is a wow factor.
Yeah, so if you're interested, clyvewatchwrangler@gmail.com. I've got a couple of videos where I talk about them, where I show them, where I show the boxes and all the paperwork and the documentation that comes with them. And the thing is, what I'm thinking is, I got these in the flyover states. The economy is kind of suck-a-rama around here. But, a couple of these pieces are basically what I get out prices, ones that what I've got in it. A couple of them I might make like $100 on the Air King.
You're really passing on the benefits of your expertise and your geographic location to people that are in an area that they might not be able to get these kinds of deals, period. And these watches are coming from a trusted source, which is huge. I can't overestimate the value of them coming from a trusted source.
And I've had these ones checked out. Now, keep in mind, I've got watchsmiths that are gray heads that have been doing this for a while. And especially when you're looking at vintage pieces, I found a lot of times the ADs, unless you've got someone that's like close to retirement, manning the repair shop, a lot of times they don't know these vintage pieces.
Now, when we wrap, can you email me the short description for each watch so I can put it in the video description with a link?
Absolutely.
And
what I think I'm going to do is I think right after Christmas time, this is good hunting season. I'd rather short sell these and just make a deal to someone than to sit there and haggle for several days or weeks over like $200 or $300.
Now, how did you sell the first one? How did that go down?
Oh my God. Well, I priced that one at 36 and people are killing each other. That was the tritium. And this one is the Archie Luxury Fuck Off watch. Remember, I don't know if you saw the blow up or not, where it's like, back in April or whatever, it was like, it does nothing for me. It does less than nothing for me. This is the watch.
It's a fantastic watch, though. It's a great all-around beater, do whatever you want watch.
Yep. Oh, by the way, all these ones have all the links. My wrist is 7.5 inches, and they'll fit it with ease, with a little bit with extra room.
Now, that one has solid end links or not?
This one does not know. This is a tritium.
Okay.
So this is like a 96. So it's like the last of the Mohicans, tritium-wise.
Gotcha.
So like I said, Mike W. got a hell of a deal on this one.
Can you finish your thought and then check the chat, because I can't keep an eye on it.
Okay. So, and like I said, I've got references. I've sold other people here. People know me on my channel. People know me on Archie's channel and on Fist. I can provide references. I've sold to doctors and lawyers and whatnot.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the value here. It's a trusted source. I'm going to go grab my iPad so that I can keep an eye on the chat. I forgot I have an iPad handy. But can you keep them entertained for a moment?
Sure. I'll just go through some live stream comments.
Good.
Flip and zip on down. Oh, I may have told Archie that he's wanting to do a piece for Tim from Watchbox. He's like, is it miso or maso? I'm like, yeah, I think it's miso. Oopsie. So, of course, does he bother checking it out? No. So, anyway, I think that makes it funnier, quite frankly. Tim Misso. All right, so Der Stiefel. Archie said if you want to come on his live stream, just I'll just send an email or two and make it happen, okay?
Yeah, give him my my Gmail.
Okay.
And so you guys know if you want to invite me in, that's the way to do it.
Also, Der Stiefel is from our local Detroit boy. He's a good guy. Now, do you predict, Craig and Clive, do you predict a redesign of the Submariner? I think so.
I hope so.
Yeah. I don't, well, the maxi case, some people don't like it, but it's got one of the older movements in it for the Rolex lineup. My prediction is that they'll put it in precious metal first, the new movement, longer power reserve, a little bit better accuracy, maybe not widen, but kind of narrow the lugs a little bit and kind of go more to like a classic style, classic case size.
That would be gorgeous. I hope they do it. I hope they fix that damn maxi case. Here's the thing, Clive. When you're wearing a watch, it matters the shape of that case as far as comfort goes. When you bend your wrist up, you're bending your wrist up and you're moving around, you might hit the ends of that watch. And if it's sharp edges, that does not lend for comfort. It just doesn't, in my opinion. Connect to the internet. Why does this damn thing say I'm not on the internet?
I don't know, but I since I can hear you, I presume you're on the internet.
My lap.
So Archie heard about the sell-off, and I'm selling a couple of my older sports pieces and a couple of my newest ones. Kind of like last hired, first fired.
Uh-huh.
and also, yeah, and also, well,
All right. Yeah, I've now got the show up on my iPad Pro here, so I can keep
right.
an eye on the comments as well. So go ahead,
Well,
Clive.
and so he heard about that, and he was taking a little a little butthurt about, why are you selling Rolex for? Why are you selling Rolex? I said, well, Archie, as we know, you're now really into Rolex with, both horns, and once you get involved in something, I don't care if it's cryptocurrency or what.
Well, what goes up must go down. At some point, this whole thing's going to come crashing down. But you're selling it at pre-bubble prices anyway.
Yeah,
you're at real prices. You're at the prices that they would have been 10 years ago.
and like I said, to me, and I'm doing this now. I've got a couple of pieces that really have some serious potential. But to me, if a watch, the best, I think, a more reasonable expectation is, if you're unsure about it, is loss mitigation rather than value appreciation.
Well, yeah, and
So,
aren't you positioning yourself possibly to get a gold stunner like we talked about?
well, Archie was asking about this, and I told him, if I was also said I was considering another Parmigiani. I said, I really have been thinking about Grand Seiko lately. I can really build up a great Grand Seiko collection, but he totally was not buying it.
You only need one Grand Seiko, but first of all, here we go. For the guy who has two, I'm showing my gold stunner right now, and I'll tell you what, this watch, every time I wear it, I just get joy looking at that dial. It is just absolutely stunning. I'm telling you. And the shape of the case, let me see if I can give you a side view. A little bit of a side view there.
No, I can't. I only see your avatar on this live stream.
Oh, so you're not, but the folks are watching, so they can see
Right.
the side edge. Okay, so now for Clive, what I can do is I can turn on my camera. Let me turn on the camera in that chat. Okay, and of course you can see the angle's not good, but what I can do is I can put
Now I can see you. Yeah.
I can put this right there. See the side view? See what I'm talking about?
Right.
I mean, that is what you call comfortable.
Well, and like I said, I already have a Rolex Steel Stunner because I've got my semi-bubble back.
Okay, so here's the deal. We talked about you liquidating some of the high-dollar steel watches, and you're on your way. Actually, you're liquidating some of the affordable ones. I wanted you to liquidate a couple more of the high-dollar ones, but if, assuming you sell 4 or 5 of these steel Rolexes, what gold steel Rolex, I mean, gold steel, what gold Rolex do you think you can move into that you'd be really happy to have?
Well, at GMT, but like I said, I had an 1803 president, and it's all right, but I'd almost rather go up the chain a little bit, horology wise. Or here's something else. Here's also something else, though. Frankly, I've got a couple of people emailing. I've got someone emailing me now about the Explorer 2 and the Air King.
So they're already on it.
Yeah.
Well, do business. Do business live right here.
Okay, I'm interested. I would do 5,200 ship for it.
Now, how will they do? PayPal you the money? How will they send you the money?
PayPal, friends, and family.
Okay. So there really has to be trust here, and there is, because people know who you are. They know you're trustworthy. They know that the watch is what you say it is. See, this is the way deals should be done, because there's so many scammers out there. It's refreshing to have a situation where you've got somebody that you can trust, that you can actually deal with. Let me know in the chat what you folks think about that, as Archie would say. Happy New Year, Craig and Clive. Thomas said at 5 o'clock. Ha ha ha, I forgot about that one classic. Which one did you forget about? Clive used to have a date, but sold it about a year ago. Okay, maybe that's the one he's talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing is, I picked up a Submariner date, and there's my son calling me back. Hold on.
Take your time. Here's another comment here says, he's not trustworthy because he doesn't wear a GS, but we're working on the GS thing.
Hey, son.
Some people, it takes time to get into a GS.
Hold on. Let me.
So it's just that's the way it is. Let's cut back to me. So here's the deal. Most people are not going to have a GS. Just like most people are not going to own Bitcoin. Okay, there's not enough Bitcoin to go around for everybody to own it. It's going to be very short supply, especially 10 years from now. Very short supply. And Grand Seikos are limited supply as well. They're handmade. There's only so many dealers, ADs, around. Many communities don't have an AD. I have to drive an hour and a half. There's only one in the Washington, D.C. metro area. I have to drive an hour and a half to get to my AD. So a lot of people are not going to have a GS, and a lot of people are not going to have Bitcoin. That's just the way it is, okay? And the number of people that are going to have both Bitcoin, when I say Bitcoin, I mean at least one whole Bitcoin. The number of people that are going to have Bitcoin and a GS, that's a very small number indeed. Okay, so Adaptive Cowman says, I'm not spending money on watches so I can save for more Bitcoin. Well, there you go. Limited GS marketing. Almost none. They do virtually no marketing. Period. I mean, first of all, they can't make that many watches, so why market something that you have very limited capacity to produce in the first place? They'd be shooting themselves in the foot. They're already having some problems with some models getting enough of them out as it is. So they don't need to really spend any money on marketing. Tim always does great videos about them. He's a fan of the watches. And he did a couple of videos. What brought up the Yacht-Masters? Clive, are you back?
I'm back. Now, I've got a couple of people, and of course, one's like, well, 5,200 shipped. And it's like, well, it's like $100 to ship. No, dude. No, you're getting it at a get-out price. And if you don't like it,
First of all, here's the deal. Here's the deal, folks. If you're questioning this pricing that Clive just gave, stop questioning it. Just grab the damn watch, because these watches are going to go. These watches are going to go, 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 go. I guarantee it. I guarantee within 2 days, all these watches will be gone. Because here's the thing. Most of these videos that I do like this, they get about 800 views in the first 2 days. And most of those people are Rolex people. And they're going to snatch these things up. These watches will be gone. We only have about 42 people watching right now. We're going to have hundreds of people in the next 2 days are going to watch this video. And so these watches are going to be gone at the price he's asking. They are what he says they are. That's just the way.
Also, no trades. Seriously, no trades.
Absolutely, because you're positioning yourself to move into an 18-karat gold stunner. Now, what happens if somebody has a GMT2 and 18-karat gold?
Yeah, we could talk.
There you go. There
but
you
generally, and Dave Lee's saying, I tried to get Clive's Explorer 1, but I guess I got killed in the rush. Yeah, that's true. And a bunch of people were like, well, I'll have it in 2 weeks. Well, excuse me. Come back in 2 weeks. These watches
are going to be gone in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
This is
you don't go up to the grocery store and say, well, I'll have the money in my checking account. And no. Then put the oranges back in the produce cooler and then leave.
Yeah. There you go. So yeah, I'm going to show my AD this setup, my Grand Seiko AD, because he's thinking about starting to do some broadcasts. And this would be a good setup for him to show the Omegas, where he can cut to camera 3, which I'm cutting to right now, and he could show his Omegas. And
and also, guys, I'd like to point out that, you know, I've sold one. These are flyover states pricing. This is not a quick sale. I'm not, you know, these are fair prices, but I'm not a determined seller. So yeah, I'm not going to lose the house or not be able to make the car payment if someone, you know,
well,
I'm not going to.
This is the situation is you bought them wisely. You buy everything you buy wisely. You don't just do like a emotional, oh, I have to have it and pay way too much for a watch. You buy them right. And you're passing that on to these folks. And I think that's good. I think that's an honorable thing to do. I mean, you're not in the business you're not like the watch box where you're in the business to buy and sell watches and that's how you make your living and you've got to get the max out of them in order to do that. You're just having fun time with these watches, and when you get ready to sell them, you're kind of passing on the benefit of your expertise to the next owner. I think that's great. Okay, let's see here.
Well, and here's the nice thing about the position I'm coming from. If I sell, I mean, I've already sold one. Dave, you're going to enjoy it. You've got the fuck off watch of 2018. You've got the watch that sent Archie into a conniption fit. The rest, and if I sell all 3 for what I want, that's great. If I sell 2 of the 3, that's great. If I sell none of the 3, I still have the watches.
Now, if you sell all 3, what do you think you're going to buy next? And then think about that answer for a second, because I want to read a few comments here.
Okay.
Limited GS marketing, we already got into that. I'm going to sell my Rolex Hulk and Batman to buy a Patek annual calendar moon phase and white gold. Any good? I'll let you comment on that, Clive.
Okay, Patek is nice. And I've also talked with Don Haynes a lot about Patek servicing. Don is of the opinion that when it comes to, like, the best values around, like movement-wise or service-wise, is either the simple ones, like a manually wound Calatrava, modern one, like a 5196, or you could go super exclusive, like 6-figure exclusive, and those are made really well. But it's like the middle ones, they can be, it's not, you know, the complications, even though they're known for them, servicing the Pateks can be quite expensive.
Yeah, I think the manual wind, if it's not going to be an everyday, all the time watch, I think a manual wind is the way to go, period. Absolutely go that way. Get a nice case design on a Calatrava, one of those nice cases, not the ugly cases. Some of them are kind of ugly. Some of them are real nice. Get the nice Calatrava and go with it. Okay, so I've got a few more comments here. GS is in high supply at limited locations in the U.S. The problem is that the demand for GS in the U.S. is little to nothing. I haven't seen that they've got too much supply. I mean, I think the ADs have a nice stock, but a lot of them...
Compared to Rolex, they do.
A lot of them, you know, have wait lists on the Snowflake. So, you know, they usually don't have like 6 or 8 Snowflakes in stock. I'll put it that way. So I don't think they're flooded with them. They're shooting themselves in the foot by keeping Seiko in the title. Again, we've talked about all this in the past. I don't think they give a damn. I really don't. I think.
Well, and the thing is, they're about as bad as Omega. They're even worse than Omega. They have these 25-digit references, or with numbers and letters. That's almost, it makes you think of buying a dishwasher at Best Buy.
Oh yeah, their branding is terrible. Their marketing is terrible. The only thing they do well is make a fantastic watch. The rest of it, forget about it. Okay, so I tried to get Clive Explorer 1, but I guess I got killed in the rush.
Sorry. Oh, by the way, if you've got a YouTube handle, make sure you put it on there, because the people that I deal with on YouTube, put your, if you're Forbin Claws, just say, "Hey, it's me, Forbin Clauses."
Okay.
Or if you're on FIST, the Premier Horological Institute of Swiss Timepieces, on Facebook, say, "Hey, it's Barry BKT on that," or it's Der Stiefel. Because also, so a lot of you guys, I've been chatting and talking with you and whatever for a couple of years, and the people that yeah.
So Ivar says, better investment suggestions than Bitcoin, please. Well, I don't give investment advice, but I like real estate myself. But it depends on where you live and what the market's like, what the rental markets are like, and there's a lot of variables to unpack there. But I like real estate, and of course I have mutual funds and stuff like that. Okay, so and go to my website, and I have a section in there called Take Control Downloads that have a lot of information on all that kind of stuff because people keep asking. Do you think?
Oh, wait, I can really make it better.
Go ahead.
If you guys know where I'm located. If you're here in the flyover states and want to pay cash, I can throw in a mug.
There you go. Absolutely. Okay, I got a few more comments here. Let's see. Do you think it's good to buy Bitcoin now or wait a bit more for it to drop? I have some money on the exchange, and I'm looking to buy at $1,270. So it's got to drop quite a bit to get to there. And I think we will have another hard drop before we go to all-time highs again. That's my game plan, and I'm sticking to it. Of course, I have a lot of Bitcoin already, so I'm trying to bottom feed. It may not get down to there, is what I'm saying. So it depends on if you don't have any Bitcoin at all, I would always want to have at least one Bitcoin. I mean, because
all right. Now there's a guy here that's saying, I don't know. It looks like you had a muscle spasm. Your handle looks like you had your hands on the keyboard and you were having a muscle spasm. So I have no idea how to pronounce that. Clive, do you see yourself ever buying a SeaDweller? That's funny. I was just talking with AJ or Alvin about that. He's like part of the innermost part of the farm council. And he's tried one before. And he's like, because Alvin has a really serious collection. Alvin's dad has a more serious collection, and he's getting out of a lot of his luxury Rolex and a lot of his luxury watches. But he was basically saying the SeaDweller is really, really, really big, and the only one I'd want is probably the steel, the blue. I mean, the blue dial steel one, unless I could get a hell of a deal off a precious metal one.
Yeah, I think the SeaDweller is a little bit on the busy, ugly side.
And Brian LP is asking, I've heard horror stories about servicing Royal Oaks, especially the GLC movement models. Is that true? Yeah. Even the most diehard Royal Oak proponents basically say it's kind of delicate for a sports wash. The funny part is I was looking at a millinery for relatively cheap on the Bay of Flea. And it was like $2,800 for an AP, but it had the same movement as the ultra thin reversos. And part of keeping it thin is that the rotor on the movement was basically supported by jewels on an inside little track. So that held the weight of the rotor going round and round, and that sounds like a nightmare. A little inside track filled with rubies.
That's just one more reason not to buy one of those watches. The number one reason is they're ugly. So let's just go there. All right. So, Craig, Clive, among these modern Rolex speculators, do you see the steel ceramic Daytona investors taking the biggest hit?
Well, and the funny part is, I was talking to one of my local guys. He was actually a secondary. He sells in the secondary market. Not Daytonas per se, but a lot of people that bought in high, bought over MSRP on credit. He's starting to see a bunch of stuff being thrown in, or a bunch of those people trying to get out of their pieces and trying to, basically the credit card statements are coming to the mailbox.
Uh-oh.
So, yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. And to be honest, a Daytona, I'm sorry, but I just don't want to pay over MSRP on an effing watch.
No.
That's against my religion.
And you're a patient man, and you know that if you want one of those watches, at some point you're going to be able to get one for list or less. At some point, it's going to happen.
Maybe. I would even say maybe, but I hate to say it. Is the Daytona a good chronograph? Yes. Is it worth every full MSRP plus a premium? If you're going to flip it to somebody else, I guess, but otherwise, no.
Yeah, if you're able to get out of it. Craig, when is your tour review of Little Treasury Omega line coming? I'm going to talk to Steve this week, maybe do something next week. I got to check with him. I'd like him to bring a bunch of watches here, and we'll do a broadcast here with my setup, because I want him to see the whole setup, because I'm trying to get him to do a setup at his place so he can do some broadcasts from there. Because he really should. He's got a whole bunch of watch lines. He could have some cool broadcasts from there. Sort of like what Tim and them do, but even better, I hope. So, okay. What else are we going to do before we wrap up? We pretty much sold your watches, so you can count in the next 2 days. They will be gone. I'll have to change the title a little bit of this video to reflect deals, some super deals. And I'll put shortcut links to the...
literally, one of the people don't realize is the condition they're in and the way the Rolex market currently is. You're basically getting them at used dealer prices. This is the equivalent of used dealer wholesale. Absolutely.
I bet you if you ran them by my AD, Steve, I bet he'd buy the damn things. He likes having Rolexes in stock. Craig, if you could only have one right now, would it be your GSs, or your Bitcoin? I'm not selling the Bitcoin until at least 2024. So, yeah, if somebody from on high came down and spoke to me and said, you have to get rid of one or the other, the watches would be gone. The watches would be gone.
Now, you ended up getting rid of getting out of your Snowflake, right?
Yes. Yes. Two main reasons. No micro adjustments.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And no loom.
Yeah.
And so the watch can't serve a purpose as an all-arounder for me because it's not that legible for my old eyes when I'm not wearing my glasses. Okay? It's not anywhere near as legible as the diver's watch. We'll cut to the diver's watch. Super legible. It's not anywhere near as legible as that. And in some ways, it's not even as legible as my gold stunner, because it has the gold hands on the ivory dial. It's got pretty good contrast. The Snowflake had a little bit less contrast than that. And so for me, it was just an extra watch that I really had no need for. And for me, extra watches go. They do not have a home here if they don't have a legitimate use case. They're gone.
Actually, do you know what watch has really been continuing to impress and astound? The way it's climbing in value?
What?
The 50th anniversary sub, aka the Kermit.
Gotcha.
It's insane. I mean, I'm pleased.
No, you have one, right?
No.
Oh, I thought you did. Okay. You have two.
Frog ranching. That's where the future is, son. It's frog ranching.
Yeah, well, you better time the top on those, and when you get the top, you better eliminate at least one.
Well, the way they're continuing to climb, here's what I'm kind of thinking. If they keep going the way they are, I'll eventually be able to approach a Daytona owner and say, trade.
Damn.
Yeah.
But do you really want a Daytona? I mean,
It's almost like a check mark. It's almost like a check box watch. Sometimes you got to check it just to say, I had one, you know.
It is a better case design, I think, than the maxi case. I think there's got that going for it.
Right.
But there's a whole lot of watches that I would buy before I would buy that. But okay, that's just me.
There's a lot better. Yeah, it's a good design. It's Rolex quality. Da 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 da. But you know the unobtainium in the 904 steel of the Daytona is like 98%. See, Rolex is mixing more and more unobtainium into their proprietary 904L steel mixture.
Okay, so any Baselworld predictions? Think on that a second, and then I got to...
I'll tell you. I'll tell you right now.
Okay.
Precious metal, we've talked about this. I think one of them will have to be a precious metal Submariner with a new movement and a updated case. I think they'll do to it what they did with the SeaDweller, the red SeaDweller, and the deep SeaDweller that the 2017, they took the red SeaDweller and they blew up, they made it bigger, but they pressed in the lugs, made it more proportionate. 2018, they did the same thing with the James Cameron, the deep sea.
Okay, so here's another question. What are your thoughts on the high beat Peacock, Craig? That's a GS. I'm not a fan of the high beats, just because I would rather buy the spring drive personally. But it's a great watch. I mean, there's no issues with it. It's just that if I was going to go Grand Seiko, I would go spring drive or 9F. I wouldn't go for the high beat. If I was just going to get a regular mechanical movement like the high beat, I'd probably just buy a Rolex because it's going to be just as accurate, just as durable. I'm not really getting any real advantages buying the high beat. Whereas if I buy the spring drive, I'm getting a huge advantage over the Rolex as far as accuracy, potential long-term durability, a lot of other benefits of the spring drive. So that's why I went that route. Okay, I think the term investment piece was created by and is mainly used by guys who are trying to justify to their wives going into debt to buy another watch.
Well, okay. And I think that's probably the way, I think that's the wrong term. I think that's the wrong term to look at it. To me, I think value retention is probably the better way, where if I get tired of it, if I get sick of it, if something, God forbid, happens where I need to, I need to raid the piggy bank, which watch will you lose the least amount of money on or will retain the most of its value?
Yeah, but that's how people go broke is thinking about their watches and in terms of what value they're going to hold and all that. If they even have to think about that, in my opinion, they shouldn't have bought the watch in the first place. That's a bad signal that they're not financially secure and that they're putting money in something that they really shouldn't put money in. So anyway, but that's just my old conservative thinking. The Kermit is a great watch, old style case with maxi dial, best of both worlds. Yeah, we talked about that once before.
Okay. Now someone's wanting to buy the Air King.
Well, I don't blame you. That's a hell of a deal.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a deal on that Air King. Absolutely. And the Air King is one of the modern watches that I looked at when I was at the AD. How can I set this thing down? Let me set it here. Let me see if I can pull up that photo. Well, no, I don't want to do that because I'm using your laptop for your thing, so I'm not going to bother with that. But anyway, I've got in my Flickr photo stream, I've got some photos from the AD, including some of those photos of the Air King, and I think it's a fantastic watch, and I think it's every bit as good as the Milgauss, and it's less money to start with. And it doesn't have the shiny it doesn't have the shiny center links, right?
Yeah. It's more of a legitimate, honest to goodness sports watch.
Well, the polished center links don't look good. Unless they're in gold, I wouldn't want a watch with polished center links.
Exactly.
I think it looks tacky, and I think when they get scratched, the scratches really show up. I was mentioning, I don't know if I mentioned it before you came in the show or after, but what people don't understand is that gold, when gold gets, quote, scratches, it's more like a patina. The watch still looks great. Matter of fact, almost like the more beat up like a Date 8 is or something, the more worn it is, like the one that Jack Nicklaus has where the bezel's real worn down and stuff. I think it looks cool. I think it looks classy. Whereas you take a steel watch and get it all scratched up, and it just looks like an old steel watch that's all scratched up. Whereas the gold watch looks like old money. It just looks like, class.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. So, did we ever get we never got the answer from you once you liquidate these steel stunners, what gold watch you'll secure?
I might be looking at an H. Moser Henry double hairspring in gold.
Okay.
And those, of course, God help you if you have to service it, but it's a watch that's so well made, and they can't even really afford, there's such value in them, they can't afford to make the movements in that price range of their watches. They've had to move that that's basically called it it takes as much time and effort for them to make as a tourbillon.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, and I have to admit, I don't think there's a damn thing wrong with a big square watch, frankly.
I'm not a square watch fan, but it looks good on your wrist. You got a big wrist. It looks okay. Let's see. We've got a few more comments in here. The Daytona is pretty much the third piece of the Instagram showboaters steel bling piece trinity, along with the Royal Oak and the Nautilus. Oh my gosh, can you imagine?
Right.
I'd sooner have a dose of the clap than a Royal Oak or a Nautilus. But anyway,
and the thing is, though, that's another checkmark watch, really. I see. Is that like investment? Do you really love the watch, or you just want it because nanny boo boo? I have it, you don't.
Do you really like the looks of the Royal Oak or the Nautilus?
Well, no, because here's the thing on that one as well, though. To be honest, if you like the integrated, most people like it because they really like the integrated bracelet.
I hate that. Yeah.
Well, I understand, but I said most people. I didn't mean exceptional people like you.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you. Man, I'm good sometimes.
Do you like the integrated bracelet? I'm putting you on the spot.
I do, but I'm not going to spend $30,000 on the son of a bitch.
Okay.
I mean, I can get something like the Omega Seamaster Cosmic, which is legitimate, honest to goodness, true sports piece that predates the Royal Oak and predates the Nautilus, and for a mere fraction of the price.
So here's a comment. Royal Oak and Nautilus are such 70s tacky styling. A lot of the older watches back then had the integrated bracelets. Even my Seiko Bellomatic, which was my first watch. It was given to me when I was like 10 or 12 years old. And it had an integrated bracelet. And that's the only thing I didn't like about that watch. I loved that Seiko Bellomatic. It was so cool to have an alarm watch on my wrist. You wound up the alarm. The watch was self-winding, but the alarm you wound up. It was so cool. But it had an integrated bracelet. My dad had a 33 jewel Seiko that he got on the same trip to Japan, and his was not a Bellomatic, and his did not have the integrated bracelet. And I always wanted his watch, and now we know nobody knows what ever happened to it. But it's gone. Clive is going to sell the stunners and buy the Bitcoin Hublot. Hublot. What's that?
Okay. No, there's one that's just a complete ripoff, bullshit. You could only buy it. It's like you could only buy it from Hublot using Bitcoin.
And, really? Really?
Yeah. And it's just nothing more than a blatant, I say cash grab, but cryptocurrency grab.
I cannot believe that more of these retailers have not caught on to the fact that they would sell watches that they would never sell if they would simply accept Bitcoin.
In its heyday, people used to send Archie Luxury, please, please, please get a Bitcoin for us. We want to support the channel. We want to send you Bitcoin. And he couldn't be bothered with it until he realized, oh.
And some of them probably wanted to send him a whole Bitcoin back in the day when they were like, 20 cents, 25 cents. Here, I'm going to send you 10 Bitcoin, right?
Exactly.
And he couldn't be bothered. Well, I have to say, when I first heard about it, I think it was about $30 when I first heard about it. And I dismissed it.
Now, here's something. Here's a good comment by, and a lot of people are saying the Royal Oak. Yeah. I mean, now I've got, Tanzil had one point. He got on the bus. He got both a Royal Oak and a Nautilus before they became super duper. He got out of it. He flipped them for a nice profit, but nothing. He's like, goddamn, if I would have kept them for a couple of years. But he's like, he's had the two, and of the two, he much prefers the fit and the finish of the Royal Oak compared to the Nautilus. But he's also kind of a little bit of a Patek fanboy.
Durr needs an intervention, though. I would buy a Royal Oak if it didn't come with several $1,000s servicing costs. That's the only turnoff for me. Durr, it's an ugly watch. Let's make that the number one turnoff. And it's too much money, and it's not that great a watch, and it's an ugly watch. So other than that, you're on the right track. There are a lot of watches out there that are very attractive, that are gorgeous on wrist. Buy one of those.
What do you think about a Vacheron Consta 10 overseas? Well, that's right. Never mind. You hate integrated bracelets. But I always think that would be a bargain compared to a Royal Oak or a Nautilus.
Well, I'm sure a lot of things would be a bargain. My gosh, I'd rather have a. What are they trying to buy when they're buying one of those? Are they trying to buy a sport watch? I'd buy a real sport watch. Those aren't a real sport watch. They're not that durable. They're not anywhere near as durable as a Sub. I mean, they're not as durable as a lot of real sport watches. So I don't understand what they're trying to buy. If they're trying to buy a dress watch, buy a dress watch that's really attractive. If you're trying to buy a sport watch, buy that. If you're trying to buy something that's both, then there's a lot of choices in that realm too that would pull it off before that. Gold Daytonas are also heading north. I'd much rather have a gold Daytona than a steel one, for sure. The
new Nana Seika is saying the new overseas isn't integrated, Clyde. Fair enough. Back out to Matic. Oh, a bunch of guys are falling. Oh, I don't know. We have a lot of the same fan base.
I think your 33 mil Seiko is ugly. Okay, so mine is a 35 mil. So there you go.
So there.
It's an ugly 35 mil. Let's take a look at that again. Let me give them I'm giving them a side view and a straight on view of the gold stunner. All $3,200 worth. I think I paid $3,200 for it. So there you go. Flippin' high five. Okay. Agreed, Mike. The new, okay. Royal Oak is the best looking watch out there. Oh, jeez. Okay.
Well, no, he's entitled to his opinion. That's fine.
Okay, some mortgage the house and get one. But I'll tell you what, you're going to, no.
I've shown you a picture of my gold stunner, right?
Oh, yeah. I love that watch. I love the engine turn bezel. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's 34 mil, right?
Yep. Semi bubble back.
Barry has a Royal Oak as his avatar. Okay. His taste of watches is not to be trusted. All right. Well, I think we've solved the world's problems, and we've also figured out how to bring in a hangout into this broadcast, and it seems to be working fine. So that allows me to use the high-end streaming gear and still bring in guests without having to use Skype or, we could use Skype. There are other ways to do this, but this way I could bring in up to 10 people, in the hangout. So, and clearly everything is stable enough to do it all simultaneously. Let us know in the chat, folks, if that's true, if you think this worked. Anything else that we should address before we wrap up, Clive?
Well, like I said, it looks like the Air King may be about to go. I still have the Explorer 2, 16570 for $4,500 plus shipping. I still have the ceramic Submariner 2014 model complete kit for $7,300 plus shipping. If you're interested,
that is a hell of a deal.
Wrangler@gmail.com. Also, I would ask that payment be made via PayPal, friends, and family. Shipping would be made to the continental United States via United States Postal Service.
And do the your email address again. I talked over you a little bit.
Oh, that's right. My email address is clyvewatchwrangler, just like my name, except all no dashes, @gmail.com. Wrangler has a W and an L, guys.
And hopefully at some point we'll get you to hook your computer up with a Cat 5 cable so that we don't have your signal drifting in and out and all over the place and all that, which is what happens with Wi-Fi when somebody turns their microwave on, like across the street, and it interferes with the signals and all that kind of stuff. So get yourself a Cat 5 cable and plug that laptop into your router and get a nice solid connection. And then
all right. Well, Craig, thanks for having me on. It was a pleasure.
All right. Thank you. And folks, I'm going to wrap this broadcast, and hopefully Clive will set something up with the group, and we'll do a little something on Archie's show at some point. So let me hit this little stop button right here. Stop complete event. Complete.